Kropski here with the Whites field team. Winter time. It's freezing outside and snow on the ground, so not getting much detecting time in. But I've had quite a few requests on Facebook and social media sites about the Spectra V3i and some of the settings that I use and techniques that I might use in the field that helps me score the gold. Been very fortunate with the V3i over the years and found quite a bit of gold. And I figured I'd go ahead and show you some of those settings today. You'll see them a little further in the video, and some of the coils that I use. But I got to tell you, the Whites V3i is one of the best metal detectors ever made, and it's just so many machines in one. It's been out for quite a few years now, and it's just such an untouched resource in metal detecting. I see a lot of people using it, but maybe not to the fullest extent. Some people are a little afraid to navigate through it. Don't be. Learn the machine. It's got so much hidden potential in it, and it could really help you increase your finds, especially in the gold areas, with some of the settings I'm going to show you, and some of the coils. One thing I'm going to point them out now. Fantastic coil that I use for the settings that I'm going to show you. It's pretty much a gold only setting. You'll see that further in the video. 4x6 double D coil. You're definitely going to want to pick this up. Spectre, the V3i, comes with the the 10-inch double D. Great coil, but if you really want to get into things where parts, smaller gold items, things of that nature, you're going to want to get the 4x6 double D. Another one does a great job. 6x10. Fantastic coil. Maybe not, it gets a little bit better depth, but maybe not as much on the small items, gold chains, earrings, things of that nature. But it'll get the gold rings and things, everything like that. Great coil, recommend it. Another one, aftermarket coil, a little tougher nuts. Not really designed for the V3i, but it works. The older Hotfoot Jimmy Sierra coil. Made a lot of Whites products for the DFX, MXT, XLT back in the day. This works for the DFX, MXT, and it will work on the V3i. It's 2x9, great little footprint, not real impressive depth, but it loves the little items. And little gold adds up, it all weighs, and definitely a coil. If you can find one, they're not the easiest things to find, pick it up. It's a great little coil for the accessory package with the V3i. But like I said, it really helps you increase your finds. Another thing, we're more than happy to help you out on Facebook, but do yourself a favor. Whether you have the V3i or you're thinking about getting one, check out the Whites Electronics forum page, the website. A lot of great information on there, not only on the V3i, all Whites metal detectors, a lot of great people. Fox, I've been on that site for years. He has taught me so much and walked me through everything. Just another unlimited source of information. A lot of people don't use this. I mean, a lot of people use the site, but there's so many more that should. You see a lot of questions that come on Facebook, things of that nature, and I say I definitely recommend going on this site. There's so many things to be answered. They lay out so many things in layman terms for you that helps you understand the machines, the settings, and why. Another great little source on there. They give you little charts, sometimes for like your recovery delay, what filter to use, for your swing speed interference, and you could print them out and laminate them. I stick them in my back pocket or underneath the display cover on the machine. You got them in the field for you, for when you might need them. So great source of information. Be sure to check it out. Of course, the operator's manual. That'll get you going on the basics. There are many turn on and go programs with the V3i. But again, if you really want to get in depth with it, check out the website, check out Facebook, YouTube videos, and things of that nature. But I highly recommend the V3i if you're an experienced detector user, especially in Whites. If you've come up, I've been using them over 35 years, and everywhere from the old blue box units 6000s to the XLTs, Eagles, DFX. Still have my DFX, great machine. Got a lot of gold that. But you're going to understand a lot of the terminology that's used in the V3i. If you just jump right into the fire and go out and buy a V3i and you don't have any detector experience or maybe another brand or something, you might not understand some of the terminology that's used, to navigate through the V3i, and you might have a hard time. But if you're an experienced Whites user, you're thinking about upgrading to a newer machine, the V3i is it. I've had this machine for years, and I don't see it getting replaced anytime soon. It's just a fantastic machine. I'm still learning things on it, and hopefully I'm going to pass some of that on to you here with this video. Again, this is pretty much a gold only kind of program. Everybody loves finding gold, so stay by for the video, and I'll give you a quick shot of some of the things that I hope I can help you find. Let's see what we got here. Just a few of the items. Again, the coils. These are some of my favorite finds overall, plus most of my 2017 finds. Gold chains, crosses, rings, new and old, diamond rings, platinum, you name it. Silver and gold. It's just it's amazing what's out there, and you got the right machine in your hand. The V3i gets the job done, and take your time, learn it. And if you're thinking about upgrading and getting a machine, you could go on the Whites website. They got the 2018 product catalogs out. You can check that out. Maybe pick out a machine that you feel fits your needs or your level of expertise, or if you're just getting in it. There's beginner units, but this will help walk you through some things. If you do decide to buy something, again, I'm on the Whites Field team. I have a product code that'll save you a few bucks. My code's ED2018, and that'll save you a few dollars on machines. But and check out the Whites website. A lot of great stuff out there. So go ahead and check out the rest of this video. Hopefully it'll walk you through some settings and get you on your way and get that gold in your pocket. Good stuff. All right. Okay, so I want to go ahead and show you some of the settings I use on the Whites Spectrum V3i, and a special program that I have set up that can kind of help you find some more of those gold items, including some of the smaller gold items that can be tough to find. Gold chains, earrings, pendants, and things of that nature. But I just wanted to go ahead and show you some of the settings I use. I've had a couple requests on Facebook, social media, asking for some of the settings that I use. So I figured I'd go ahead and put this video together. And basically, it's a custom program that I've made on my V3i. You have 9 preset programs, and I decided to do away with the Meteorite program. It's not something I use, so I replaced that with my custom program. So let me go ahead and show you all about that. If I come up here to the basic menu and scroll over to programs, we'll enter that, and you'll see your list of the programs that are available, and you'll notice the one that's highlighted at this time where Meteorite used to be underneath High Trash. I've named it Gold Lake, and why I named it that is because the settings I use are strictly for gold. I happen to use it at a drained swimming lake that I do every year, sandy environment. But you could use it in pretty much any environment, whether it's volleyball courts, parks, football fields, soccer fields, or anywhere you might feel that there's gold objects, possibility of them being lost there. So Okay, so it's the gold program. We'll come back to this, and I just want to show you some of the basic settings I use. Let me go to the regular search screen. If we come over here, there's your program, and we'll get the audio. And audio and tones, that's pretty much a preference thing on what you like as far as the threshold tone, or how loud you want the volume in the wireless headphones, or if you're using a speaker. I do recommend headphones be used. So that one's right there is pretty much a self-preference as to what you want. And even the tone. On the end here, I have tone. I don't have the best of hearing, so there's certain sounds I hear better than others. And another great feature from the V3i is that you can pick pretty much any tone that works for you. There's 191 different tones. So they make it fairly easy to find one that fits. Sensitivity, for the purpose of the video, the RX gain on the sensitivity here, I got it all the way down to 1. I am indoors, so that'll keep the machine nice and stable, and I'll be able to show you pretty much everything with the machine being quiet. You come over to all metal, we got the preset, it's got the line underneath. All metal, I got that set up at 80. I find that sufficient. And then on the disc, also preset level of 85. Seems to work just good for me. Out in the field, I like to run that RX gain up to anywhere from 10 to 14. It just seems to be pretty stable. It does work, and you don't want to run sensitivity too low for a reason being that you want to hit that small gold and those smaller items, gold chains, and granted, you will hit the aluminum foil, smaller pieces of trash. But with the program I'm going to show you and some of the settings I use, it has its advantages. So let's go ahead and move on to this next thing. We got disc, your discrimination. And you'll notice over here, at 49 I have an X in a box, 48 I have an X in a box, 50 I do not. And the reason being there is because I accept everything from a positive 49 is accepted on my program all the way down to negative 10. Negative 11 is rejected. Negative 11 all the way down to negative 95 is rejected. Everything from 50 to positive 95 is rejected. And the reason I do that is because 95% of your gold related items are going to fall within that range of negative 10 to 49. And right at that break of 50, lower 50s, you get your zinc pennies start to become a problem. Is there some larger gold that can fall in there? Yes, there is, but I'll get to that. The reason I go down into the negative numbers is that your gold chains and your lower VDI numbers, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if you reject 0, negative 1 through 10, those lower VDI numbers have the tendency to maybe not respond as well as they could if you accept the first negative 10 numbers, gold chains, small earrings, pendants, what have it, broken rings. So I find the advantage to accept those negative 10 numbers. There really is no disadvantage. So that's one thing I would like to show you. So you want to set your machine up where you're going to reject from negative 11 down to negative 95, and then you're going to reject positive 50 to positive 95. You're going to accept everything in between. Coming over to transmit frequency. The Whites V3i set up basically to run 3 frequencies, 2.5, 7.5, and 22.5. 22.5, higher frequency. Gold responds to higher frequencies better than the lower ones, so you really want to run single frequency of 22.5. Coming over, ground tracking. One thing here, Uh, Standard, most programs run auto track on. It's not something that I like to run in this program, for the reason being that your auto track features, uh, because I'm accepting those first -10 numbers, and those lower VDI numbers are right around my ground numbers, um, and they're small items with high sensitivity. Auto track could possibly track out those small little bleeps or broken signals, maybe possibly confusing it with ground mineralization, or something of that nature. So I prefer to use lock track. You just simply scroll down, highlight it, accept it, and ground bounce is normal. Um, Another item I'll point out here in the ground tracking is I have the soil set to normal versus salt. And the reason being is that I'm just hunting a sandy beach. It is fresh water, but if I was to elect the salt, what that does is that the machine will actually um, knock out those first lower VDI numbers, say 0, 1, 2, 3. It has a tendency to want to knock them out of the program because of the salt interference you might get on those saltwater environment, beach, there things of that nature. So again, I run normal soil, backlight. Presets come in at 20, not necessary. All it's going to do is drain your battery down. I put it on 1, it's just enough. No real draw on the battery. You don't have to use it. I like a little backlight even in the daytime. Just highlights the screen better. But let's go back to the regular menu, and I could go a little further into each object here. Sensitivity, pretty self-explanatory. Again, the RX gain, the discrimination, the all metal, we went over that. The only other thing highlighted here is that TX boost on that screen. I do not use it. You can. It will pump out a little bit more power, on objects, but I really don't find a major advantage to it. The V3i is plenty enough powerful machine, and with this program, I've been very satisfied not even using TX boost. Squeeze and release. Go over here to audio. We'll enter that. Okay. Again, personal preference items. You got all your volumes and thresholds. That's up to you what you want to use. You got your tones. You enter that. Again, personal preference. The tones as to what you like for your threshold to be, what you want your target tone to be. Again, depends on your hearing. Let's come out of that. Come down, we got tone ID. I do not use tone ID in this program. If I wanted to, I would have an X in that box, and the reason being that I don't use it, I'm not using multiple tones. I'm hunting for one VDI range of targets, so there's no reason for me to have confusion in there with broken up tones, multiple tones. I want everything to sound nice, cool, clean, and crisp. So turn off your tone ID, and it's just another way of cleaning up the signals, and for this program, again, it works fantastic. Alright, let's come down here to disk. We'll enter that, and am I all the way up? Okay, we got VDI, we got bottle cap reject. Not something I run. It's because of the VDI numbers that I'm accepting. Everything else is pretty much rejected. Don't have a problem with the bottle caps. It's just I don't find it necessary to use. Same goes with the hot rock. I don't have a problem with hot rocks around here that I've had any issues with. Ground filter. I do choose to use the 7.5 kilohertz ground filter in the band pass mode. It's pretty much the most average swing speed, and it goes for moderate mineralization. 7.5. Most people swing a swing speed in that 1.5 to 2.5 feet per second. That's the 7.5 bandpass. Seems to work real well for me in that and for this program. So set your machine up, 7.5 bandpass, and let's move on from there. Squeeze and release. Come back over here to frequency. I don't think there's much in there. No, that's again, we're running 22.5 for our gold. Ground tracking, and again, that was all the same. I don't know why that's on salt. There we go, back to normal. Okay, now, that was pretty much your basic menu settings. But one of the great features about the V3i is you can go so much further than that, and there's so much more to explore, and is one of the reasons it's such a great machine, so many in one, and you could really have some great outcome. So one thing we want to do, we'll come over here and we're looking to enter the expert menu now. So we're going to double tap our menu button, and it's going to bring us into a whole nother screen for our information and how to configure things. One thing we're configuring, we're going to be using the 4x6 coil. And in the field for this program, I use the 4x6 coil, the 6x10 coil, or sometimes I run a 2x9 little hot foot Jimmy Sierra coil that is ideal. You don't get the best depth with them, but it's a good coil for what I do with the gold. But the 4x6 and the 6x10, fantastic coils. Found a lot of gold with them. All right, so we got the 4x6 elected. Let's go down. There's we've highlighted we want to go into our expert menu. We're going to enter, and that brings up our expert menu. The program, we already know we're in our Gold Lake program, so there's no need to go in there. Discrimination. It's got a plus in the box right now, so the program is pretty much closed. Let's hit enter. Now there's a minus in there. So we've opened up that sub-menu. And that brings us down to the first thing of real interest. This is a good one. Visual reject. You'll notice there's no X or check in the box. I do not have that elected. The reason I don't want to do that, even though I have audio rejection on for them -11 to -95 and +50 to +95 set up in my discrimination, I have those all rejected. Have the audio rejected, but visually, I still want to see the type of targets that my coil is swinging over during my hunt. And the reason I do that is because most of the areas that I hunt in 3 stages. I'll go there usually 6 times. I'll do 2 hunts of this gold only program that I'm showing you here today. Then I'll go back a 3rd time and I'll do a hunt, usually picking targets from 80 to 95, everything else rejected. I'll do that 2 times, and then I'll go back and do a 3rd hunt where I'm pretty much either accepting everything or I'll concentrate on those mid targets of 50 to 80. And that's, again, a personal preference. But a neat thing to show you here is why you don't want to use the visual reject. So I'm going to squeeze and release and come out of that for a second so I could show you what goes on with this. There's our normal operating screen. Now, a quarter on the V3i usually comes up in the 85, 86 range, maybe a little lower. But again, we have that set for rejection. So we shouldn't hear it when I wave a quarter past the coil. Here's our quarter. Here's our coil. Now, we didn't hear it. Got a little clip there, but it showed up on our screen. It is showing it's a quarter with the icon. We got an 83 VDI number. However, the audio wasn't there. 85. Now, what that's doing for me is when I am hunting in that gold range, it's showing everything else that's going underneath the coil, and that's going to help me. I'm going to take a mental note of that, and that's going to help me make a decision on how many 85s, how many 80s, and all come up during the course of my hunt that day. And the next time I come back for my 3rd hunt, I'll say, okay, yeah, there's a lot of 80 signals here. I want to accept 80 to 95. And then I'll accept all those numbers, and then I'll start separating those targets out of the sight. And it just shows you a way to really break down and height a site thoroughly, methodically, and get everything you can. If you went to a site that's got an abundance of targets in it, say like this swimming lake that I do, and you want to accept everything off the bat, there's so many targets close together, it's going to be tough. It really is. And why not use the advantages of the Whites V3i? Separate the targets, do it one at a time, do it thoroughly, and get the gold. You'll get it all, believe me. So, there's your quarter, nothing. There's your dime, nothing. Zinc penny, nothing. But you're still seeing those numbers. Now, the only coin you will pick up in the run of this is, of course, your nickel. It's just going to fall in your 18, 19 area, which is a gold range. So that's why that target's accepted. I don't mind digging nickels at all. All right, so that kind of explains the visual rejection. Let's go back. Go back to that. Okay, we left off of visual rejection, bottle cap, and hot rock. We went over. EDI select by, icon table. I can show you that briefly. Basically, what you could do there is, if you'd like having icons on the screen, you can elect which kind of icons you'd like. Pull tabs, rings, and they have it set up. There's some preset things here. You have parks, what's usually found at parks, pull tabs, coins, maybe a ring, bottle caps, that kind of thing. Relic, that's going to show you bullets, buttons, buckles, horseshoes, that kind of thing. Prospecting, I've never used it, but I'm sure it's like nuggets, iron, or what have it. Or you have the option to come down and custom, which is what I do for this gold program. So I just want to show you that real quick. We'll go down to edit, we'll enter, and here's my program layout. You can see right there, up at the top, I have -10 to +14, and I have foil, the foil icon, and the gold ring icon. Lots of gold falls within that range. A lot of nice little diamond rings, things of that nature are going to be in that below 14 area. Your gold chains, your pendants, your earrings are all going to fall down in there, and I'll show you some examples of that further in the video. We'll go over and we'll pass them by the coil and we'll see what we have. Come down a little further, you got +15 to 25. You break that down into another segment. There's your nickel, that comes in at 18, 19. There's your nickel icon, and your pull tabs. That's where your pull tabs start to come in on the higher end towards 25. 26 to 50, you're still dealing a little with the pull tabs, coming up to your bigger rings. You still got gold, all falling within that -10 to 49 range. Above that, even though I had the icon screen set up, all these targets are now rejected. 51, 58. You can see the zinc penny and the screw cap. All these targets here, we would have no audio. However, we would see them visually on our screen. It's a great thing. All right, so let's come out of that. And you could, when you go in and you customize these icons, you get to pick which ones you want to use. And this, again, this is my layout: foil, rings, nickels, pull tabs, up to the zinc penny. It just really makes a nice screen. And again, I'll show you that on our normal hunting screen. Let's come out of that. Go back to our expert menu. Go back up. Close the icon. We have it minus there. We want to close it. Shrinks it back down. Sensitivity. Again, self-explanatory. We went over this in the beginning of the video. RX gain's only at 1. I like to run it 10 to 14 range. TX boost, we do not have that elected at this time. I don't really care to use it. You can, but it doesn't give you all that much help. Discrimination, sensitivity, all metal. Let's go back up. We're done in that menu. Audio. Let's go in there. Let's see. Target volume, audio threshold, tone. One thing I'll show you here, tone. Let's go in there for a second. Nothing. We went in there. We already talked about that. The one thing I will show you here is pinpoint audio. And one thing with pinpoint audio, you'll see you have VCO or ratchet. I have VCO elected. I get the X in a box, and basically I find that to be better than ratchet pinpointing. Reason being that the closer you get to the target, when you've got the trigger squeeze for pinpoint mode, the louder, more intense, higher pitched your audio is getting. So the closer you are to the object as you're trying to pinpoint it, to me it just helps pinpoint some. Ratchet pinpointing's been around for some time. It has its purposes, but on your smaller gold chains and things of that nature, if you try pinpoint with ratchet pinpoint a couple times, if it's small, you're having a hard time finding it, you keep squeezing and releasing the trigger, you're actually shrinking the signal. And you'd be like, oh, where'd the signal go? So do yourself a favor, use VCO in your pinpoint audio. And one thing I'll point out, don't be afraid to navigate around on your V3i and make up these programs. This is what this machine is all about. Coming down, you get your wireless headphones. Again, I recommend them, or wired headphones, whatever you have. Frequency, we went over that. Ground tracking, we went over that. Filter and speed, center that. And we have your search filter and speed. We'll enter that. And that brings us to one thing we didn't talk about yet. And we went over the 7.5 bandpass. Recovery. Recovery delay is how fast the machine can reset and get back to be able to detect another target if multiple targets are close together. That's going to depend on the size of your coil. I'll just give you a basic idea as to some of the rundown on that. If you were running, say, the 4x6 coil like we're doing here, I like to run my recovery delay anywhere from 35 to 50. Okay, smaller the coil, lower the numbers. So kind of remember this. Okay, so the 4x6 coil, 35 to 50 range. Then you can bump up. There's the 5-inch coil that Whites makes, the Eclipse. I run that to 40 to 60 range. The 6-inch coil, usually I'll run in a 55 to 75 range. Next up, the 9.5 concentric coil, 90 to 115. I like the recovery delay in there. And you come with the stock the 10-inch double D coil that comes with the V3i, usually 100 to 125 recovery delay. Seems to work well with that coil. And a newer coil, the 13-inch Ultimate Double D D-Tech coil, fantastic coil by the way. I'll usually do a 110 to 135 recovery delay on that. And again, it's based on a normal sweep speed, average sweep speed of about 1.5 to 2.5 foot per second. That's probably about what everybody swings. And those, like I said, it goes. You know, there's kind of a tolerance there in your recovery delays. So those numbers should work pretty well for what the type of hunt you're doing. All right, let's go back up to this internet. Get that out of there. You got your analyze. There's not much there to go over with this program. Configure. I'm in the United States here. English. You could pick for another great feature with the V3i worldwide, or wherever you may be, whatever language you may speak. V3i's really got you covered. I mean, it's got what's it got? It's got German, Russian, Spanish, Turkish, French. I mean, it's what a great machine. Great idea putting all that in there. So come down. You got color schemes. I have fireside elected. It's something I find works well in sunlight. It really shows my my icons and my VDI numbers sharp. So it's something I like to go with. And that's really about it that I utilize in this gold program. So let's go ahead and wave a couple targets. There's our normal operating screen. Again, we're accepting targets from -10 to 49 to positive, and we're rejecting everything else. Everything from -11 to -95, from +50 to +95 for this gold program. So, some smaller gold items. Here's a small gold cross, pretty small, 10 carat. And again, one thing I'd like to point out here is we're only running a sensitivity because we're in the house at 1. It's the lowest possible settings. And these are fairly small gold items we're going to go over, and yet you're going to get a nice, solid, clean response from them. Here we go, 4x6 coil, and there's your low VDI number. It was a good, clean hit, +4. There's your foil or your gold icon, a couple inches down. Nice clean audio. When you're in the gold area and you're looking for, if you're in an area where you feel that there's gold, you get a nice little signal like that, check it out, because, don't get deterred because you think it's foil. A lot of good stuff out there, and I've dug up pounds and pounds of foil in my life, but I found a lot of gold to go with it. But do yourself a favor. Dig it. Okay, so there's the gold cross. Here is a small gold earring, popular little find in swimming lakes, volleyball courts, things of that nature. Give it a shot. Let's see what this comes up at. There's a +3, so it's even a little bit lower, but yet it's a good, clean signal. Very nice. I like that. I dig that all day long. Another small item. Okay, let's move on to something a little bit tougher to get. We all know that gold chains, bracelets, they can be really tough to get. Even though there's a lot of gold on an item, they don't hit all that well because it's made up of many little links. It's not a consistent, solid item. It's many little links that are barely touching together. Can be a tough one on most machines to get. But here's the little bracelet. Usually you'll hit on the clasps. That's usually what it'll respond to the machine and it'll hit. Let's go ahead and wave this by and see what we get. Again, 3. So I'm really giving you an idea. Don't kid yourself saying, oh, well, I'm not going to dig anything below nickels. That's your prerogative, but you're missing a lot of gold. There's a lot of gold that falls below that 18, 19 range. A lot of diamond rings. 4, 5, 3. Dig them. All right, here's a small platinum Tiffany platinum diamond ring. You definitely would like to dig this one up. So let's go ahead and wave this by the coil, see what we got. 13. Now see, that jumped up, still below that nickel range, still in that foil gold ring range. Higher VDI, nice clean target. You'll notice we have one line because we're only running one frequency. That's 22.5. Nice clean target. Love digging them ones. Here's a small pendant. It's got a stone in it. These smaller items, not a lot of metal on little pendants, earrings. Yet the V3i hits them. And again, we're only running a sensitivity of 1 out of 15. Imagine, it's a nice, good, clean target. 4. So there's your lower VDI numbers. I was going to say something. What was it? Oh, and you will dig smaller. You're going to dig foil. Little pieces of aluminum. But don't let that deter you. You're out there to get this gold. I find a lot of it. Some people, I know you're interested in it. You're asking me how to do it, and that's why I'm showing you and making the video. Another item, I just got this one Christmas Eve, actually. It's a 2mm, 22-inch solid gold rope chain, 10 carat. Not an easy one to find. Let's go ahead and wave it past the coil. See what we got. 3. And when I heard it go off, it was at the swimming lake, wet sand, water drained out. I heard the signal. It was a little bit broken up, and I think that was the reason being that it was a little bit deeper in the sand. It probably strung out straight. but the machine hit it, and it gave me enough information to whether or not to decide, hey, do I want to dig this or do I not? I decided to dig it. I'm glad I did. So there's the gold chains, there's the small earrings, there's the small pendants, bracelets, platinum rings, uh, diamond ring. Let's do a pretty good sized diamond ring here, 18 karat, and let's see what kind of response we get out of that. 10. Still below that nickel range. Let's wave that nickel past again. 19. So look at all these targets that fall below there. Now, one thing I will point out, on the zinc pennies, it's knocked out. You don't hear it, but the problem with the zinc pennies is after time they start to decay, especially in the water, in the ground, what have it. And you'll notice, see, it's 59. Usually hits around 56, 59, 57. And the reason I could have went down further and accepted more of the 50 range targets, but because of the decaying zinc pennies, they tend to fall down around 50, 51, 52. I'd really rather not be bothered with them when I'm trying to concentrate on my gold. Like I said, I'm going to rehunt the site again anyway, and later on I'll dig those annoying zinc pennies and decaying pennies. It's not, but what's great about that is, like I mentioned earlier, every now and then you'll get a nice big school ring, college ring, or larger gold item that is hiding in that 50, 60 range. So when you're digging them zinc pennies, every once in a while you get a nice surprise. It's happened. All right, so that's gold. It's really, there's a lot. Here's a larger gold ring, men's ring. What do we got? 30. Now we're above that nickel range. Those, great ring. All day long. Love that one. It's in the pull tab range, but it's also in the gold range. Don't kid yourself with the pull tabs. Another diamond ring, one of my favorite. 14. So I think that pretty much explains a lot of the targets, how they respond. Here's one thing I will, even though your silver, like say a silver dime or what have it, it's going to come up in the higher 80s and things of that nature. Your silver rings will usually fall around 72, and they're set for rejection right now. However, excuse me. However, your smaller silver chains, silver earrings, and things of that nature have the tendency to fall down in your lower VDI numbers. Here's a super small silver hoop earring, hollow, not much there, yet it falls down in 11 range. So you'll get these little guys. That's okay with me. I don't mind finding other jewelry items in an area. Then I know to slow down and pay attention, because there's things taking place there, whether it's a swimming lake, park, volleyball court, even silver chains. Here's a nice silver chain. You would think that would hit up fairly high and would be rejected. However, it's not the case. 24. So you're not just digging gold, you're digging gold, a gold range, and many things fall into it. Tungsten rings. Here's one here. 44. We're below that 50 VDI, so we're still getting the tungsten rings. And even on this program, this gold only program that I'm running, I do a lost jewelry recovery service for people that have lost their jewelry. I'll run this program a lot of times because I know that I'm not going to be bothered getting hits off other targets, coins or things of that nature that might be laying on the ground. I'm only digging gold items, even if it's a tungsten wedding band. I'm going to have success with it. Stainless steel rings, 12. They fall down low like that. So you're going to get all these targets, and it's I can't say enough about the Whites V3i and what you can do with this machine. If you own one, you're thinking about getting one, learn it. You have to learn the machine. Don't be afraid of it. I know, they say, oh, well, there's so many settings that it's frustrating, it's intimidating. take your time and learn it. And hopefully these videos will help you. I plan on making a couple more. I have some on the YouTube at this time. Um, but you're not going to mess up the machine. You're not going to mess up the programs. You can restore anything you want to do. And once you get going with it, you find out how easy it is to adjust certain things, why you want to adjust certain things, and then you could go in and make up your own custom programs, and that's a fairly easy thing to do too. So, again, you have 9 preset programs. Mixed Mode Pro is fantastic, High Pro is fantastic, Deep Silver. But if there's anything on there that you're not going to use and you want to rename and reconfigure, like I did with Gold Lake, go ahead and do it. And then it's there every time you need that particular type of hunting program. It's there for you, and it's that easy to do. And I wish you the best of luck with it. Any questions, please ask. Check out the YouTube channel. Check out the Whites Electronics forum on the website. You got Facebook pages. You got the Whites Electronics Facebook pages, and numerous other ones out there. So, any questions, please ask. I'm sure everybody's out there to help. The Whites Electronics website, great spot. So many people out there that'll help you along with, with the V3i or any of your other Whites machines. Fox, he's on there. The man is a mentor of mine. He has taught me so much. But you got to really teach yourself a lot by getting out there, trying the machine, learning the machine, and going for it. And you spend the time. Get yourself a couple extra coils. The 10-inch double D comes stock with the machine. Great coil. Get yourself a 4x6 and a ultimate 13-inch double D. That'll set you up pretty well. 6x10, fantastic coil. I use it on most of my lost jewelry recoveries. So any of those will be there to help you. Headphones. So with that being said, get out there, get the gold. All right. Have a great day.